The enigma of the Winchester Cathedral begins on a rainy autumn afternoon when the Special Paranormal Investigation Team, SPIT, receives a frantic call from the local authorities in Winchester. Several tourists have disappeared inside the historic Winchester Cathedral, and the local police are at a loss. Eerie whispers and flickering shadows have spooked even the most skeptical officers, leading to growing panic among the townspeople. The SPIT team, composed of 4 seasoned experts, arrives in Winchester as dusk settles in. Lucas Reed, the team's leader, is a seasoned investigator with a sharp mind and a darker sense of humor. Dr. Evelyn Price, an archaeologist and occult expert, has an unparalleled understanding of ancient rituals. Detective Mark Turner, a tough, no-nonsense detective, has seen more bizarre cases than he cares to remember. Samantha Sam Wells, the tech genius, specializes in ghost hunting equipment and electronic surveillance. Setting up their base at a quaint inn near the cathedral, the team reviews the case details. Lucas jokes, "Well, folks, looks like we've got ourselves a real-life ghost story. Let's just hope the ghosts don't mind being on camera." Evelyn, leafing through historical texts about the cathedral, notes, "This place has a history of strange occurrences dating back centuries. It was built on an ancient pagan site, which could explain some of the paranormal activity." That evening, armed with thermal cameras, EVP recorders, and motion sensors, the team heads into the cathedral. The air inside is thick with an unexplainable chill. Gothic arches loom overhead, and the flickering candlelight casts eerie shadows on the stone walls. Sam sets up the equipment while Lucas and Mark conduct a perimeter sweep. Evelyn examines the historical and religious artifacts scattered throughout the cathedral. "There's a lot of energy here," she mutters, "and not all of it is friendly." Suddenly, the EVP recorder crackles to life with faint whispers, sending a shiver down Sam's spine. "I've got something," she whispers, adjusting her headphones to catch the strange sounds more clearly. Lucas and Mark head to the crypt, where they encounter a shadowy figure known as the Shadow Man. The entity moves with unnatural speed, evading their attempts to capture it on camera. Lucas jokes, "Well, this guy's camera shy." Meanwhile, Evelyn and Sam discover claw marks on the pews and a chilling coldness that seeps into their bones. The sensation is both terrifying and intriguing, confirming their suspicions that the cathedral is far from ordinary. Regrouping at the entrance, the team compares notes. "We've got evidence of something big," Lucas concludes. "But what we're dealing with is more than just a simple haunting." As they pack up their equipment, the team feels a sense of foreboding. The cathedral's dark history and the strange occurrences hint at a deeper, more sinister mystery. Lucas's humor masks his unease. "Looks like we're in for a fun night, folks." With a plan to return the next night for a more thorough investigation, the team heads back to their inn, unaware that the shadows of Winchester Cathedral have only begun to reveal their secrets. The following night, the team returns to Winchester Cathedral, determined to uncover the truth behind the disappearances. As they set up their equipment, the atmosphere feels even more oppressive than before. The cathedral seems to pulse with an unseen energy, the air thick with anticipation. Lucas, Mark, and Sam split up to cover more ground, while Evelyn remains in the main hall, studying the ancient texts and artifacts. "We need to understand what kind of rituals were performed here," Evelyn says, her eyes scanning the pages of a dusty tome. Lucas and Mark head back to the crypt, where the Shadow Man had eluded them the previous night. They set up motion sensors and thermal cameras, hoping to capture definitive evidence of the entity. "Keep your eyes peeled," Lucas warns, his tone serious. "This thing moves fast." Sam, meanwhile, explores the upper levels of the cathedral, her modified EMF detector in hand. The device beeps erratically, indicating a strong paranormal presence. As she moves through the darkened corridors, she hears faint footsteps behind her. Turning quickly, she sees nothing but empty shadows. In the crypt, Lucas and Mark pick up movement on the thermal camera. A cold, dark figure appears on the screen, creeping along the walls. "There it is," Mark whispers, pointing at the screen. The Shadow Man materializes before them, a towering figure of darkness with glowing eyes. It watches them for a moment before darting away, disappearing into the deeper recesses of the crypt. "Did you see that?" Lucas exclaims, adrenaline pumping. "We've got to follow it." Upstairs, Sam's EMF detector goes wild as she enters a small chapel. The room is unnaturally cold, and she feels a presence behind her. Turning slowly, she comes face to face with a grotesque creature. A skinwalker, its form shifting between human and beast. She stumbles back, fumbling for her camera, but the creature vanishes before she can capture a clear image. Rushing back to the main hall, Sam finds Evelyn deep in her research. "We've got a serious problem," Sam says, her voice shaking. "I saw something that shouldn't exist." Evelyn looks up, her expression grave. "I've found references to a secret society that once used this cathedral for dark rituals. They called themselves the Brotherhood of the Black Thorn. They were known for summoning demons and conducting human sacrifices." Lucas and Mark rejoin them, breathless from their chase. "We saw the Shadow Man again," Lucas reports. "It's definitely not a residual haunt. It's intelligent and dangerous." Evelyn's eyes widen. The Brotherhood's rituals might still be active, drawing these entities here. As they discuss their findings, the cathedral's atmosphere grows more oppressive. The shadows seem to move of their own accord, and faint whispers echo through the halls. The team realizes they are not alone. Something ancient and malevolent is watching them. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, they decide to return the next night with more advanced equipment and a plan to uncover the Brotherhood's secrets. Lucas quips, "Just another day at the office," but the tension in his voice is unmistakable. As they leave the cathedral, a sense of dread lingers in the air. The team knows that their investigation has only just begun, and that the true horrors of Winchester Cathedral are yet to be revealed. The morning sun casts long shadows as the team gathers to review their findings from the previous night. Mark's injuries from the crypt encounter are still evident, but he brushes off any concern. Lucas, however, is less optimistic. "We can't keep playing cat and mouse with these things. We need a solid plan." Evelyn nods, her eyes dark with determination. "I've been researching the Brotherhood of the Black Thorn. Their rituals were designed to summon and bind demonic entities. If we can find where they performed these rituals, we might be able to break the connection." Sam, her face lit by the glow of her laptop, looks up. "I've enhanced our thermal cameras and EMF detectors. We should be able to get more precise readings tonight." As they prepare for another night at the cathedral, an urgent call comes through. A local restoration crew, working in a nearby section of the cathedral, has gone missing. The team's contact in the local police, Sergeant Cooper, pleads for their help. "We need you to find them. The workers are terrified, and we can't risk losing more people." The team arrives at the restoration site, a dark and dusty wing of the cathedral that hasn't been touched in centuries. The air is thick with dust and the scent of decay. Lucas, leading the way, jokes, "Welcome to the funhouse, folks. Watch your step." As they delve deeper, they find signs of a struggle, tools and equipment scattered, bloodstains smeared across the ancient stones. The atmosphere grows colder, and an eerie silence settles over them. Suddenly, the air is filled with a low, guttural growl. From the shadows emerge grotesque, human-like creatures crawling on all fours, the crawlers. Their eyes glow with malevolent intelligence, and their movements are unervingly fast. The team braces for an attack. "Hold your ground," Lucas shouts, his voice steady. The team fights back with everything they've got. Sam's enhanced thermal cameras capture the creature's movements, while Mark uses his flashlight and a makeshift club to fend them off. Evelyn chants a protective incantation, creating a barrier that holds the crawlers at bay. Despite their efforts, the creatures are relentless. One of the crawlers lunges at Mark, its claws raking across his chest. He stumbles back, blood pouring from the wound. Lucas and Sam manage to fend off the remaining creatures, forcing them back into the shadows. Breathing heavily, the team surveys the aftermath. Mark's injury is serious, and they call for paramedics. As they wait, Evelyn examines the scene, her face grim. These aren't just random attacks. The crawlers are being directed by something, or someone. Lucas agrees. We need to find out who's behind this and stop them. The paramedics arrive and rush Mark to the hospital. The team is left shaken but resolute. They regroup at their base, determined to uncover the truth behind the Brotherhood's dark legacy and the entities haunting the cathedral. As they prepare for another night of investigation, Lucas tries to lighten the mood. Well, at least we know we're not dealing with your average ghost story. But the tension is palpable. They all know that the horrors of Winchester Cathedral are far from over, and that their next encounter could be their last. With Mark recovering in the hospital, the team is temporarily down a member. Despite the setback, they push forward with their investigation. Evelyn spends the day in the local archives, digging through ancient texts and records for any clue that might explain the Brotherhood of the Blackthorn's rituals. Meanwhile, Lucas and Sam return to the cathedral. Sam sets up more advanced surveillance equipment, including motion-activated cameras and enhanced EMF detectors. Lucas, ever the skeptic with a dark sense of humor, comments, "If there are any ghosts watching, they're about to get their 15 minutes of fame." As night falls, Evelyn joins them, bringing with her a stack of old manuscripts. I found references to a hidden chamber beneath the cathedral. It's said to be where the Brotherhood performed their most powerful rituals. Using the new equipment, Sam detects a series of anomalies in the crypt, leading them to a concealed door in the floor. With some effort, they manage to pry it open, revealing a narrow, spiraling staircase descending into darkness. The air grows colder as they descend, and the oppressive atmosphere intensifies. At the bottom of the staircase, they find themselves in a large underground chamber. The walls are lined with ancient symbols and occult markings, and a blood-stained altar stands at the center. Evelyn's voice is barely a whisper. This is it. This is where the Brotherhood conducted their rituals. As they explore the chamber, they find more evidence of dark practices: bones, tattered robes, and ancient scrolls. The sense of dread grows stronger, and Lucas can't shake the feeling that they're being watched. Suddenly, the chamber door slams shut, trapping them inside. The temperature plummets, and an oppressive, malevolent presence fills the room. "We need to get out of here," Lucas says, his voice tense. Now, the equipment begins to malfunction, and the lights flicker. Sam frantically tries to open the door, but it won't budge. Evelyn examines the symbols on the walls, looking for a way to break whatever force is holding them captive. The presence grows stronger, and they hear disembodied voices chanting in an ancient language. The walls seem to close in, and the floor beneath the altar begins to crack, revealing a swirling vortex of darkness. "There's got to be a way out," Lucas insists, his mind racing. He spots a series of symbols that match those in one of Evelyn's manuscripts. "Evelyn, those symbols. What do they mean?" Evelyn quickly translates the symbols. "It's a containment spell. If we can disrupt it, we might be able to weaken whatever's holding us here." Working together, they begin to deface the symbols, scratching and breaking the lines with anything they can find. The malevolent presence reacts violently, and the room shakes as if in protest. With a final, desperate effort, they manage to break the containment spell. The oppressive force dissipates, and the door creaks open. They stumble out of the chamber, gasping for breath. As they regroup outside the crypt, Lucas looks at his team, determination etched on his face. "We've got to stop this. Whatever the Brotherhood unleashed, it's still here. And it's getting stronger." Evelyn nods, her eyes steely. "We need to find out how to seal it permanently. If we don't, more people will die." The team returns to their base, exhausted but undeterred. They know the road ahead is fraught with danger, but they're resolved to see it through to the end. The enigma of Winchester Cathedral is far from solved, and the true horror has yet to reveal itself. The next morning, the team wakes up to news of another disappearance, this time a local historian who had been researching the same Brotherhood of the Black Thorn. This development escalates their sense of urgency. While Mark is still recovering, he insists on helping remotely by analyzing data and providing insights. Lucas, Evelyn, and Sam decide they need reinforcements. They contact Dr. Claire Harding, a renowned parapsychologist, and Dr. Nathan Harris, a demonologist. Both are old colleagues of Lucas and have significant experience with high-level paranormal phenomena. Dr. Harding arrives first, a tall woman with a serious demeanor and a quick wit. "So, Lucas, you called in the big guns. This must be serious," she says with a wry smile. "It is, Claire," Lucas replies. "We're dealing with something ancient and malevolent. We need your expertise to understand how to combat it." Dr. Harris, a stoic and meticulous man, arrives shortly after. "I've heard of the Brotherhood of the Black Thorn," he says, his voice low and measured. "They were known for summoning and controlling powerful demonic entities. This isn't just about hauntings. It's about preventing an unleashed evil." That evening, the expanded team returns to Winchester Cathedral. This time, they are prepared for a more strategic approach. Dr. Harding sets up her equipment to measure psychic energy, while Dr. Harris prepares protective wards and sigils around their base of operations. Evelyn shares her findings with the new members. There's a ritual that could potentially bind these entities back to where they came from. It requires a specific incantation and the use of certain artifacts that are likely still within the cathedral. Lucas and Mark, who is participating via video call, lead the search for these artifacts. Sam monitors the equipment for any signs of paranormal activity, and Dr. Harding and Dr. Harris stay close to Evelyn, helping her decipher the complex ritual instructions. As they venture deeper into the cathedral, the team encounters increasingly aggressive paranormal activity. Shadows dart across their path, and unearthly howls echo through the halls. The air grows colder, and the oppressive feeling from the previous nights returns with a vengeance. In the main hall, they find a hidden compartment containing several ancient artifacts: a ceremonial dagger, a chalice, and a tome bound in human skin. "This must be it," Evelyn says, her voice barely a whisper. "These are the items needed for the ritual." Dr. Harris examines the artifacts carefully. "These are indeed powerful. We must be cautious. Using them incorrectly could make things worse." As they prepare for the ritual, the cathedral's malevolent spirits grow more active. Crawlers and shadowy figures emerge, attacking with ferocity. The team fights back, using their knowledge and tools to hold the entities at bay. Lucas, wielding the ceremonial dagger, jokes, "It's like a paranormal action movie, but I didn't sign up for the leading role." Dr. Harding and Dr. Harris create a protective circle around Evelyn as she begins the incantation. The air vibrates with energy, and the shadows recoil, but the entities do not retreat easily. The team must fend off wave after wave of attacks, while Evelyn continues the ritual. As the final words of the incantation are spoken, a blinding light fills the cathedral. The entities scream and dissolve into the air. The oppressive atmosphere lifts, and the team collapses in exhaustion, but they know this is only a temporary victory. Lucas, breathing heavily, looks at his team. "We've weakened them, but they're not gone. We need to figure out how to seal this place for good." The team regroups, more determined than ever. The true test is yet to come, and they must be ready to face the full wrath of the entities that haunt Winchester Cathedral. As the team regroups at their base, they receive an unexpected visitor. Agent Robert Kane, a stern and authoritative figure from a secretive government agency, arrives with a team of operatives. Kane, known for dealing with classified paranormal events, wastes no time in making his presence felt. "I've been briefed on your situation," Kane says, his tone leaving no room for argument. "The government has been monitoring this cathedral for decades. We have resources that can assist you, but I expect full cooperation." Lucas, never one to back down from a challenge, replies, "We appreciate the help, but we work as a team. No secrets." Kane nods, though his expression remains inscrutable. "Agreed. We have reason to believe the Brotherhood's rituals were part of a larger plan." Our intel suggests they were attempting to open a permanent gateway to another dimension. If we don't stop this, the consequences could be catastrophic. Dr. Harding and Dr. Harris exchange worried glances. Opening a gateway of that magnitude could unleash unimaginable horrors, Dr. Harris murmurs. We must prevent it at all costs. The government operatives set up a sophisticated command center in the inn, bringing in advanced equipment and personnel. Kane introduces Dr. Emily Rodriguez, a specialist in quantum physics and dimensional rifts. Her expertise is crucial to understanding the Brotherhood's ultimate goal. That night, the team, now bolstered by the government's resources, returns to Winchester Cathedral. The atmosphere is even more tense, knowing the stakes are higher than ever. They split into smaller groups to cover more ground and gather crucial data. Lucas, Evelyn, and Dr. Rodriguez head to the main hall to examine the artifacts and the altar. Dr. Rodriguez's equipment detects a faint but growing energy signature. They're trying to reactivate the gateway, she says, her voice filled with urgency. We don't have much time. Meanwhile, Sam, Dr. Harding, and Agent Kane explore the cathedral's undercroft, where they find more symbols and markings related to the Brotherhood's rituals. The air grows colder, and their equipment picks up increased paranormal activity. Shadows flit across the walls, and eerie whispers echo through the halls. Stay alert, Kane orders, his hand hovering over his holstered weapon. These entities are drawn to our presence. As they regroup in the main hall, Evelyn reviews the ancient tome. We need to perform a counter-ritual to seal the gateway, but it's complex and dangerous. If we make even one mistake, it could backfire. Dr. Harris nods in agreement. We must also use the artifacts to channel the energy correctly. This will require precise timing and coordination. The team prepares for the counter-ritual, setting up protective wards and focusing their equipment on the altar. Evelyn and Dr. Harris take the lead, reciting the incantations while Dr. Rodriguez monitors the energy levels. As the ritual begins, the cathedral is plunged into chaos. The malevolent entities launch a full-scale assault, trying to disrupt the ceremony. Crawlers, shadow men, and demonic figures emerge from the shadows, their attacks relentless. Lucas, Kane, and the operatives form a defensive perimeter, fighting off the entities with weapons and protective wards. Sam uses her enhanced EMF detectors to pinpoint the entities' movements, helping the team stay one step ahead. Dr. Harding, her voice steady despite the chaos, assists Evelyn and Dr. Harris with the incantations. The air hums with energy, and the ground shakes as the gateway begins to close. Suddenly, a powerful entity, more formidable than any they've encountered, emerges from the vortex. Its eyes blaze with malevolence, and it seems to draw strength from the cathedral itself. We have to hold it off, Lucas shouts, his voice barely audible over the roar of the vortex. Keep the ritual going. With a final desperate effort, the team channels all their energy into the ritual. The light from the altar grows blinding, and the powerful entity lets out a deafening scream as it is sucked back into the closing gateway. The cathedral falls silent, the oppressive atmosphere lifting. The team, exhausted and battered, collapses to the floor. The gateway is sealed, and the Brotherhood's dark plans are thwarted. Kane, catching his breath, looks at Lucas. You did good, Reed. The world owes you a debt. Lucas, managing a weak smile, replies, just another day at the office. As dawn breaks over Winchester, the team knows their battle isn't over. The cathedral may be safe for now, but the world is full of other dark secrets waiting to be uncovered, and they will be ready. The morning after their grueling confrontation, the team meets to debrief. Agent Kane and Dr. Rodriguez have urgent news. We've intercepted communications indicating that remnants of the Brotherhood are still active, Kane says, spreading out a series of maps. They're planning something big, and it involves the cathedral. Lucas frowns. We just sealed the gateway. What more could they want? Dr. Rodriguez chimes in. The gateway might be sealed, but the energy here is still potent. If they can tap into it, they might be able to reopen the gateway or do something even worse. Determined to thwart any further plans, the team decides to explore the history of Winchester Cathedral more thoroughly. Evelyn and Dr. Harding delve into the archives, searching for any records that might give them a clue about the Brotherhood's activities. Lucas, Sam, and Dr. Harris focus on interrogating captured members of the Brotherhood for any information on their next move. While combing through the archives, Evelyn finds a series of letters from the 19th century. They detail the construction of a hidden chamber beneath the cathedral, designed to contain an even darker secret. This chamber wasn't just a ritual site, Evelyn says, her voice tinged with dread. It was a prison. As the team reconvenes, Dr. Harris adds, if the Brotherhood is trying to access this chamber, they could unleash something far worse than we've faced so far. Agent Kane receives a call from his superiors. We've located a possible entrance to this hidden chamber, he says. It's in the old catacombs, a place we haven't explored yet. That evening, the team, now more prepared and determined, descends into the catacombs. The air is thick with the scent of mold and decay, and the walls are lined with ancient bones. The deeper they go, the stronger the feeling of malevolence becomes. Stay close, Lucas instructs, his voice echoing off the stone walls. And keep your eyes open for anything unusual. They find the entrance, a rusted iron door covered in ancient runes. Dr. Harris and Dr. Rodriguez work together to decipher and disable the protective wards, and with a creak that reverberates through the catacombs, the door swings open. The chamber beyond is vast, lined with more occult symbols, and filled with an oppressive darkness that seems to swallow their flashlight beams. At the center stands an ancient stone sarcophagus, its surface etched with runes and images of demonic figures. This is it, Evelyn whispers, her voice barely audible. This is what they want to open. As they step closer, the ground begins to tremble. The air grows colder, and a low, guttural growl echoes through the chamber. Crawlers and shadow men emerge from the darkness, attacking with renewed ferocity. Hold the line, Kane shouts, firing his weapon at the advancing entities. Lucas and the others join the fight, using their tools and knowledge to fend off the attackers. Evelyn and Dr. Harris rush to the sarcophagus, trying to decipher the runes that might reveal how to prevent it from being opened. Dr. Rodriguez monitors the energy levels, shouting warnings as the entities close in. We don't have much time, Dr. Rodriguez yells. The energy is building up. They're trying to break the seal. With a final, desperate effort, Evelyn finds the key rune and begins to chant a counter-incantation. The runes on the sarcophagus glow with a fierce light, and the ground shakes violently. Suddenly, a deafening roar fills the chamber as the sarcophagus lid starts to crack open. The team redoubles their efforts, fighting off the entities and protecting Evelyn as she continues the incantation. The light intensifies, and with a blinding flash, the lid of the sarcophagus slams shut. The entities scream in agony as they are sucked back into the darkness, and the chamber falls silent once more. Breathing heavily, the team looks around. The sarcophagus is sealed, and the entities are gone. But they know this is only a temporary victory. The Brotherhood's plans have been thwarted for now, but their resolve is stronger than ever. Lucas turns to his team, determination etched on his face. We need to find out who's leading the Brotherhood and stop them once and for all. This isn't over. The team barely has time to catch their breath before Agent Kane receives another urgent communication. We've tracked down the leader of the Brotherhood, he announces. His name is Victor Moreau. He's a powerful occultist, and he's been orchestrating everything from the shadows. Dr. Rodriguez furrows her brow. Moreau is notorious in the world of the paranormal. He's been linked to several other dark rituals across Europe. If he's involved, we're dealing with a mastermind. Determined to confront Moreau and end the Brotherhood's reign of terror, the team makes their way to a secluded mansion on the outskirts of Winchester, the supposed hideout of Victor Moreau. The mansion, shrouded in mist and surrounded by dense woods, looks like something straight out of a horror film. As they approach, the air grows heavy with an unnatural chill. Keep your guard up, Lucas warns. This place is crawling with dark energy. They enter the mansion cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. The interior is a macabre mix of Victorian opulence and occult paraphernalia. Pentagrams and ritualistic symbols are etched into the walls, and the air is thick with the scent of burning sage and incense. Agent Kane leads the way, his weapon drawn. Spread out and look for anything that could give us a clue about Moreau's plans. Evelyn and Dr. Harding head to the library, a vast room filled with ancient tomes and grimoires. We need to find any records of his rituals or plans, Evelyn says, sifting through the dusty books. Meanwhile, Lucas, Sam, and Dr. Harris explore the basement. The walls are lined with cages and torture devices, remnants of the Brotherhood's sinister practices. "This guy is a real piece of work," Sam mutters, her voice trembling. They find a hidden door at the back of the basement, leading to a secret chamber. Inside, they discover an altar surrounded by candles and more occult symbols. On the altar is a book bound in what appears to be human skin, its pages filled with dark incantations. "Jackpot," Lucas says grimly. "This must be Moreau's spellbook." As they examine the book, they hear a sinister laugh echo through the chamber. Victor Moreau steps out of the shadows, his eyes glowing with an unnatural light. "I see you found my little sanctuary," he says, his voice dripping with malice. The team readies themselves for a fight, but Moreau raises his hands, chanting in a language none of them understand. The air crackles with dark energy, and the room begins to shake. Shadows coalesce around Moreau, forming into demonic entities. "We need to stop him," Lucas shouts, charging at Moreau with the ceremonial dagger. Moreau deflects his attack with a wave of his hand, sending Lucas crashing into the wall. Evelyn and Dr. Harding arrive just in time to see the chaos unfold. "We need to disrupt his spell," Evelyn yells, her eyes scanning the room for any weak points in the ritual. Dr. Harris begins chanting a counter-incantation, his voice steady despite the growing darkness. The shadows writhe and lash out at the team, but they hold their ground, fighting off the demonic entities with everything they have. Agent Kane fires his weapon at Moreau, but the bullets seem to have little effect. "We need to hit him where it hurts," Kane says, reloading his weapon. Evelyn grabs the spellbook from the altar, flipping through the pages frantically. "There's a binding spell here. If we can complete it, we might be able to trap him." With the team protecting her, Evelyn begins the incantation. Moreau's face twists in rage as he realizes what they're doing. "You cannot stop me," he roars, summoning more shadows to attack. The air grows colder, and the lights flicker as the power of the spell builds. The team fights off the entities, giving Evelyn the time she needs to complete the incantation. As she speaks the final words, a blinding light fills the chamber. Moreau screams in agony as the spell takes hold, binding him in place. The shadows dissolve, and the oppressive atmosphere lifts. The team watches as Moreau is sucked into a vortex of light, his screams echoing through the mansion. Breathing heavily, Lucas looks around. "Is it over?" Evelyn nods, her face pale but resolute. "For now, we've stopped Moreau, but there will always be others who seek to harness this kind of power. We need to stay vigilant." As they leave the mansion, the team knows they've won a significant victory. But they also know the fight against darkness is never truly over. They will continue to protect the world from the shadows, no matter the cost. The dawn of the next day finds the team back at their temporary base, their faces etched with exhaustion and relief. They sit around a large table, reviewing the events of the previous night and trying to piece together the implications of Victor Moreau's defeat. Agent Kane stands at the head of the table, his expression serious. "We've neutralized Moreau, but his followers are still out there. We need to ensure they don't attempt to resurrect his plans." Dr. Harding, flipping through the ancient tomes they recovered, adds, "There's a lot of knowledge in these books. We can't just destroy them. They might contain the key to preventing future threats." Evelyn nods in agreement. "We need to secure these texts somewhere safe." The Brotherhood had centuries to gather this information. If we can understand it, we might be able to prevent another group from rising. Lucas, still nursing a bruise from the battle, leans forward. What about the remaining members of the Brotherhood? We can't just wait for them to make the next move. Sam suggests we could track their movements. With the resources Agent Kane has, we could put surveillance on key figures and intercept any communications. Agent Kane nods. I'll get my team on it immediately. We'll monitor any suspicious activity and strike before they can regroup. As the team disperses to handle their respective tasks, Evelyn and Dr. Harris stay behind, delving deeper into the spellbook they retrieved. There's a lot here we haven't translated yet, Evelyn says, her fingers tracing the ancient symbols. We need to understand the full extent of what Moreau was planning. Dr. Harris agrees, and we need to make sure that whatever countermeasures we put in place are effective. The Brotherhood's power was vast, and we can't afford any mistakes. Meanwhile, Lucas, Sam, and Dr. Harding head back to Winchester Cathedral. The building is still shrouded in an eerie silence, the aftermath of their battle lingering in the air. They inspect the protective wards they had placed, ensuring that the seals are still intact. This place will always be a target, Lucas says, his voice echoing through the empty hall. We need to make sure it's secure. Sam, setting up additional sensors and cameras, adds, if anything happens here, we'll know about it immediately. And we'll be ready. As the sun sets, the team gathers once more, this time in a more relaxed atmosphere. They share a meal, the tension of the past few days giving way to a cautious optimism. Evelyn raises her glass. To victory and to those we've lost. We've made a difference here. Lucas clinks his glass with hers. And to the battles still to come. We'll be ready. As they toast, a sense of camaraderie and determination fills the room. They know their work is far from over, but they are united in their purpose. The Brotherhood has been dealt a severe blow, but the fight against darkness is an ongoing struggle. Late into the night, they continue their discussions, planning their next moves and sharing stories of past encounters. Despite the danger, there is a sense of satisfaction in knowing they have made the world a little safer. As they finally retire for the night, the team is more determined than ever. They have faced unimaginable horrors and emerged victorious. And they know that together, they can face whatever comes next. The following weeks bring a semblance of normalcy, but the team remains vigilant. Agent Kane's operatives keep a close watch on known members of the Brotherhood, and the information they gather proves invaluable in preventing further attempts to harness the dark energies of Winchester Cathedral. Evelyn, Dr. Harris, and Dr. Harding work tirelessly to decipher the remaining texts. Each discovery they make brings new insights into the Brotherhood's rituals and plans, allowing them to develop stronger countermeasures and protections. One morning, as they are deep in study, Evelyn finds a passage that chills her to the bone. There's a prophecy here, she says, her voice trembling slightly. It speaks of a final convergence, a time when the boundaries between worlds will be weakest. Dr. Harris, looking over her shoulder, frowns. If the Brotherhood was working towards this, we might have only delayed their plans. We need to find out when this convergence is supposed to happen. Lucas enters the room, having overheard their conversation. Then we don't have much time. We need to prepare for this convergence and ensure that the Brotherhood can't take advantage of it. As they delve deeper into the prophecy, they realize that the convergence is set to occur during the next lunar eclipse, only a few weeks away. The team springs into action, coordinating with Kane and his operatives to set up a comprehensive defense around Winchester Cathedral and other potential sites of power. In the days leading up to the eclipse, the team fortifies their positions. They set up a network of protective wards and sensors, ensuring that any attempt to breach the barriers will be met with swift resistance. Evelyn and Dr. Harris refine their counter-rituals, ready to disrupt any attempts to open a gateway. The night of the lunar eclipse arrives, and the tension is palpable. The team is stationed at key points around Winchester Cathedral, their eyes scanning the darkened landscape for any signs of activity. The air is thick with anticipation, and the silence is almost deafening. As the moon begins to darken, the first signs of trouble emerge. Shadows flicker at the edge of their vision, and the temperature drops sharply. The Brotherhood makes their move, launching a coordinated assault on the cathedral's defenses. Lucas, leading the front line, shouts orders to his team. Hold your positions. Don't let them through. The battle is fierce, with the Brotherhood's dark forces clashing against the team's defenses. Crawlers and shadowmen swarm towards the cathedral, but the team fights back with everything they have. Agent Kane's operatives provide covering fire, their weapons enhanced with the protective wards designed by Dr. Harris. Evelyn and Dr. Harding, stationed at the heart of the cathedral, begin their counter-ritual. The air hums with energy as they chant the ancient incantations, their voices steady despite the chaos outside. Dr. Harris stands guard, ready to intervene if the Brotherhood breaches the inner sanctum. As the lunar eclipse reaches its peak, the ground shakes, and a blinding light fills the cathedral. The Brotherhood's leader, a shadowy figure shrouded in darkness, steps forward, his eyes glowing with malevolent power. "You cannot stop the convergence," he roars, his voice echoing through the halls. Lucas, his face set with determination, charges at the leader, the ceremonial dagger in hand. The two clash in a fierce battle, the air crackling with energy as their powers collide. Lucas's determination and training are matched against the Dark Leader's ancient knowledge and strength. Meanwhile, Evelyn and Dr. Harding pour all their energy into the counter-ritual, their voices rising above the din. The protective wards glow brightly, holding back the encroaching darkness. Dr. Harris, using his expertise in demonology, disrupts the leader's control over the entities, weakening their assault. With a final, desperate push, Lucas drives the dagger into the leader's chest, breaking his concentration and causing the dark forces to waver. Evelyn and Dr. Harding complete the ritual, sealing the convergence and banishing the dark entities back to their realm. As the light fades and the eclipse ends, the team stands victorious. The Brotherhood's plans have been thwarted, and the convergence has been prevented. Exhausted but triumphant, they know they have saved the world from a great evil. Agent Kane, surveying the aftermath, nods in approval. "You did it. We all did." Lucas, catching his breath, smiles. "This time, we made sure it's over for good." Evelyn, Dr. Harris, and Dr. Harding join them, their faces showing a mix of relief and determination. "There will always be threats," Evelyn says, "but as long as we stand together, we can face them." As the first light of dawn breaks over Winchester Cathedral, the team knows their work is far from over, but they are ready for whatever challenges lie ahead, united in their resolve to protect the world from the forces of darkness.